Do you ever make a decision and then immediately wonder if you made the wrong one? You say no to something, and 5 minutes later you're questioning if you were too harsh. You tell someone how you feel, and then replay the conversation, wondering if you imagined the entire problem. When every choice feels like a trap, the friction usually isn't in the decision itself. This constant hesitation is a symptom of fractured self-trust. That trust becomes fragile after years of having your feelings, your memories, or your instincts questioned by the people around you. Rebuilding that connection requires a small, consistent counter-practice, rather than a complete personality overhaul. It starts with 3 minutes. Healthy self-trust allows for incorrect thoughts, heavy emotions, and inevitable mistakes. It functions as a quiet resilience, the ability to pause, reconsider, and change your mind, without the reflex to abandon your own perspective. Your brain likely learned to look at another person's face before deciding how you are supposed to feel. Over time, this creates an automatic neurological loop where you check with everyone else's potential reaction before validating an internal feeling. Because this external checking reflex is deeply ingrained, simply telling yourself to be confident usually fails. You need a physical intervention to rewire how you process your own thoughts. This practice requires a quiet space, a piece of paper, and 3 minutes designed to let your internal voice speak before the rest of the world chimes in. Minute 1. Ask yourself, what am I actually feeling right now? Strip away the expectations of what you should feel or what would make you look reasonable. You might find anger, or perhaps an unexpected sense of relief. You might feel a specific disappointment you've been hiding, or an excitement you're afraid to admit you want. Write the emotion down exactly as it appears. Your only job in this first minute is to observe the data without arguing with it or trying to correct it. Minute 2. Ask yourself, what do I actually want in this moment? If you've spent years adapting to the needs of others, you may find that you've lost touch with your own baseline desires. This question often feels foreign at first. Focus on micro-desires. Do I want to stay in this room? Do I want to delay my response to that text? Do I want more space, or do I want to be closer? Writing down a desire acts as a data point. It gives you a clear view of your internal landscape before you even consider taking action. You are gathering information, which is entirely separate from making a commitment to act on it. The third minute focuses on support. Ask, what do I need for myself right now? You might need permission to rest, the choice to step away from a screen, or the right to withhold a final decision until tomorrow. To make this practice effective, you must keep one tiny promise based on these answers. If you wrote that you need 10 minutes of quiet, you must actually give yourself those 10 minutes. If you can't find an answer, I don't know yet is a valid and honest response. Honoring that uncertainty is more effective than inventing a false truth to end the discomfort. Following through on a small promise or acknowledging your uncertainty proves to your subconscious that its messages are finally being heard and respected. A single instance of this practice feels meaningful, but the brain requires repetition to dismantle old habits. Each 3-minute session acts as a micro-intervention, slowly overriding the automatic reflex to look elsewhere for answers. Over time, these small disruptions create a new baseline for how your mind processes internal signals. Each kept promise functions as a historical data point. You replace the abstract goal of trusting yourself with recorded evidence. I listened to myself yesterday. I respected my need for space this morning. With enough evidence, the effort of listening shifts. It becomes the state your mind naturally defaults to. Eventually, you notice the change in your daily life. You make a choice without polling 5 friends. You set a boundary despite feeling a twinge of guilt. When you make a mistake, your first instinct is curiosity, rather than self-criticism. True self-trust lives in the knowledge that doubt no longer holds the power to dictate your behavior. Take 3 minutes tonight. Ask yourself what you feel, what you want, and what you need. Then keep the promise. The goal is becoming a safe, reliable audience for your own internal truth. Subscribe to Ms.Subconscious Mind to continue rewiring the patterns that no longer serve you. You don't have to trust yourself perfectly. You just have to start listening.